Dr. Leyland. Step into the future, the world is waiting now. Dreams are in the making, we'll show you how. From the books to the screen, from the stage to the stars, level up your game, let's raise the bar. Innovation, inspiration, it's in our DNA. Breaking through the limits, we're paving the way. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Empowered in your passion, your voice will be heard. Building a legacy with every word. From podcasts to pages, from business to art, Level Up's the place where it all can start. With heart and with vision, we're chasing every goal. Together we'll ignite the fire in your soul. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we're trailblazing, breaking through the mold. Dreams are alive, let your story unfold. With courage and pride, we'll take the fight. At Level Up, we own the night. Level up, reach the sky, take the lead, don't be shy. Your story's worth it, your light will shine. At Level Up Academy, it's your time. Oh, it's your time. At Level Up Academy, we rise and climb. So let's level up and never look back. On the road to greatness, we're on the right track. Together we'll soar, together we'll thrive. At Level Up Academy, we're alive.
Hello, amazing brothers and sisters out there. I am so proud that you guys are here. I am so happy and glad, especially for Team Replay as well. Super happy that you guys are coming in today. Today, we have a very special TV show. Again, we are on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, wherever you guys are at. Obviously, we're also on YouTube channel, right? So I wanted to make sure that you guys know we are here, but also today is all about solutions, right? And last Thursday we were talking about problems, but really what we're trying to do is invite you to our academic publishing presentation next week, right? That's where we're going to provide all the solutions, our reports, and literally we're also going to invite you to our print. The presentation doesn't do justice on what we wrote, what our frameworks are, what our thoughts and processes are. But what is really unique about this academic publishing that I have done, this is my second reiteration, is the fact that we are actually like, I was looking and reviewing each individual who's part of this academic publishing. And I noticed that each one of us are doing something that we are passionate about, that we are experienced, right? And backed it up by research. Some of us were having a hard time connecting it, but once the light bulb literally go in and they're like, wait, this is what we're passionate about. This is what we're talking about. And that is the reason why I'm super excited about this information being disseminated to everywhere, because we're trying to provide solutions, right, to all of the problems that it's only six out of the world. And we already have a egg problem, we have a tariff problem, we got, TikTok problem, we got all the negativity problem. We have so many problems, but we're trying to tackle something that's personal to each individual today. But before we go through that, I'm going to go to my sponsorship, which is Influencing You platform. This is a social media platform specific for growing your social media. So you're talking about TikTok, Instagram, and I got invited to switch to a half and half social media and mindset. And I love that. So I'm going to be teaching mindset and social media in the Influencing You platform. I'm not sure if it's going to be in a month or maybe in 2 weeks or maybe next week, but we're trying to figure that out in terms of my proposal. The sister company, which I love, I'm going to get another more elixir because I ran out of my elixir, but I still have their skincare and I love it. I mean, it's collagen. We were just talking about if I turn 60, I want to be Susanna. Fabulous, darling. Fabulous. Looking good, right? So, yeah, I need to keep those elixir and collagen going for sure. And these are amazing companies that care about what they put in their products. And so, this is one of the influencing you platform that I did, which was on March 28th. In terms of social media advertising and essential, you can literally boost your posts for $5 a day for $25 in 5 days. So there's a way for you to boost all of your information if you are interested. Guys, this is the registration. Go ahead and scan it. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to scan it. That is the registration for human first, right? With the talks of AI integrated in everything that we do today, whether you like it or not, AI is going to keep going. It's not going to stop for you. So if you're a business owner, if you are an educator, if you are a consultant, you better be embracing AI, but you want to embrace human first. That's what we're trying to do, is human first. Solutions can be done with AI, blah, 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 which I have, right? I have created bots, but human first, because it's up to us to interpret how we're going to take it in and how we're going to deliver it. And look at this beautiful and handsome brothers and sisters. These are your academic scholars who's going to be presenting today and their solutions. One solution is what we're doing today. But we're also having anthology. Miguel is going to be part of this anthology. I'm so happy, and April Wyatt as well. Hoping Mike will be, and Dr. Mary as well. We're hoping, crossing our fingers. But this is all about gratefulness. We are very intentional on writing about what we are grateful for and who we are grateful for as part of our journey in life, right? It's messy out there, but it's nice to have someone that we're a part of. Mike told me my QR code didn't work last time, so I redid this. Yes, this is a new QR code for rice coffee. For those of you who are wondering what the heck is rice coffee mushroom, no, not psychedelic mushroom, guys. Okay, it doesn't do that for you. These are vegan, non-GMO, and these are 6 different types of mushrooms in there. I will give you all the mushroom information on that QR code. They had an Easter one. It was really good. It had like free cups, and I like their cups and little spoon because they're all wooden. They really went all natural on this one. And I love the coconut. Oh my God, the smell of that creamer. And if you are a coffee drinker, this doesn't give you 100% caffeine, it's 48%, so that you don't crash. You don't go up high, you don't crash, you sustain your energy throughout the day. But also, not only that, it has antioxidants. It basically gives you stress relief. It also is good for your tummy, because I noticed that my tummy gets upset when I drink too much coffee, even 2 cups a day. With the creamer, not only it smells good, it tastes good, but your tummy doesn't hurt. At least for me, that's what's been doing. And they have intentional things in there. I also will have the Level Up magazine coming up in June. Same time as our anthology that comes out. And this is called We Lead, We Rise, We Continue. Most business owners, when you are on the magazine, we put you on our Instagram as well, but I will probably do something different on this June, and I will have an Instagram interview. I've never done Instagram interview. It's always been like StreamYard and putting in. So the June one will have an Instagram interview. and then we'll invite everybody to kind of watch you in there live, to see. And if you have a book, let me know. I'll add it to my global influencer account on Amazon, which I also have an Amazon global influencer account. Now, today's the last day. This is for our friend Sindal, our sister Sindal's daughter, Callie Robbins. She has a intern in art, through Congressman Rick Crawford's Congressional Art Competition. Today's the last day to vote. Please vote. It's free. Scan it. Okay, do it. Literally just hit like and comments on the Facebook. It's on Facebook right now, guys. So I totally appreciate you. Anybody in our community that reach out who needs help, I will always post it out there. So thank you for doing that. I think I'm done talking. I was like, I think I'm done talking. Hello, everybody. All right, I'm going to bring up everybody because we do have a long conversation today about our presentation. Hello, beautiful people. All right, Charlie. Last week we talked about your problems and a little bit on your solutions. Today, kind of walk us through what is the problem statement really quickly, like even a summary of it, and then one solution that you're providing.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me here. So my focus is on strength-based process for ADHD. So taking a realistic look at ADHD, not as just as a weakness or a problem people have or deficiency, but also acknowledging that it is real. So people have ADHD. It can be quite challenging, but also that there's a lot of strengths behind it, and that we can. I really believe that people with ADHD can change the world. So so today the solution that I'm presenting is showing that there's a huge economic um, uh, benefit of helping people with ADHD. So there's a huge cost, but then the majority of people, or a huge proportion of people with ADHD are also entrepreneurs. Like I know a few of them that might be here. So yeah, so it's so the world can be changed. People with ADHD, especially if we give them tools, and I hope that explains it. Yeah, so can I just start presenting?
Yeah, go for it. A little bit on this one. Yeah.
Um, okay. How do I?
I actually control it, so just tell me to move forward because right now it's on the screen. The economic, right? Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm focusing on adult ADHD, and I'm doing that because I want people to know that it's a lifelong condition. So it's not just children. So in my generation, people were not diagnosed with ADHD. It just wasn't. Um, it really wasn't in people's minds. So, but since then, there's been a lot of data that showing that there's a huge cost for people who have ADHD and are not treated. So that's what I'm talking about here. So you need to click the next slide, please. So the hidden burden is that there is 194 B with a billion annual cost, and 70% productivity loss. So I know Susanna talks a lot about um, inclusion and helping people in the workforce. And there's actually such a huge benefit, like the return on investment for people with ADHD. The loss is 70% loss because people with ADHD just aren't appreciated or seen, and there's just a lot of strengths they have, but they're not really understood. So a lot of it is just education, and then there's also 8 billion in healthcare costs. So people with ADHD are also often very lively. They can make decisions that might um, cause them to, I don't know. Like, a lot of times people have issues with addiction. The have a lot of interest in extreme sports, things like that. There's a whole cost of it. But all right, and next slide, please. So my passion is to educate people and then truly assess people with ADHD. So um, I think a lot of people self-diagnose that they have ADHD, but what's happening is that they're struggling. And I think that we can offer a lot of tools, and everyone could benefit from mentors and coaching. But I do think there's a lot of evidence that somewhere between, depends on the research, but it's solid that 3% of all adults, all humanity, have some form of ADHD, have ADHD. And there's screening that can be done, super easy, super simple. Like, within a few hours, honestly, someone that's really skilled. So with an 85% sensitivity, so not just taking a test online and say, oh, I have ADHD. And basically the return on investment I was talking about, some of the solution is like making it aware and then actually testing people. so on average, it's a $600 assessment, depending on where you are. I think in different places, like in um, the UK, I think it's a lot more, but nonetheless, there's a like the numbers are accurate. About $600 to $1,000 assessment saves $1 million or so throughout the lifetime. Like if someone is assessed, they understand what they have, and then they're able to move forward. And then also, like something I'm passionate about, I do like every day is ADHD coaching, and telehealth reduces clinician time and efficiency by 40%. So what we can do, and I think I'm so proud of the people we work with. There's so much coaching and understanding and research about how to help with the community, and so I started from that with a base, so workplace support. So I think that 70% of the money lost with people with ADHD is due to them leaving their jobs early, and that can be prevented with just a little bit of education. Let them know like they're supported, they're seen. um, yeah, and then like another level up would be coaching, and I think personally this is probably the best thing that we can do, is because there's, even if you take pills, which is 60 to 70% effective through research, not everyone can get medicine, not everyone believes in medicine, but you can. Oh, can you go back up? Sorry, it's important. Can you go back to the other screen? So okay, no, the other one, next slide, sorry. Okay, so yeah, coaching, this is like executive functioning coaching, where it's not just anyway, there's a whole thing. You have to read my article, and then also therapy. I get more into that, but basically just acknowledging people, and then including cognitive behavioral therapy, but focused on ADHD. And then the top of it, I put it on there, medication. Basically, there's a lot of research that stimulants really help people with ADHD, but again, there's side effects, and then also just it's so hard to get stimulants in the first place. So I wanted to focus on, most importantly, workplace support, because 70% is economic. 70% of money that is lost is due to not taking care of people with ADHD in the workplace. All right, next slide, please. All right, and then solutions. So just basically taking a holistic approach. So identifying people's strengths. So people with ADHD are notoriously like out of the box thinker, creative, empathetic, justice centered. So basically, if we can customize solutions for people, build support, and then also I'm really big. I think psychology often doesn't focus enough on objective data. Like for example, 70% of a waste of employment for people with ADHD, it's such a loss. All right, so if we can measure the outcomes, and there's a huge, it's like a 200% increase. Like people that get educated, like neurodivergent, because they're able to. A lot of it is just like if they can get like in a hyper focused state early in the morning, don't do a bunch of meetings, do all this stuff, and actually just able to focus on their job. They can. It's amazing. All right, next slide, please.
All right, and then we're probably going to be stopping right here because we do have the other slide. Yeah.
All right. sorry, it's very exciting. All right. Yeah, healthcare. Yeah, each 1% diagnosis increases 2 billion. I think I talked about the employee. There's a 138% return on investment the first year, but then over 5 years, I can't remember. It's like up to 500%. And then something I'll probably write my next research paper is on the criminal justice system, where there's a very conservative 8% of people who are in prison have ADHD. And anyway, and then there's a $7 return. So every dollar invested, there's a $7 return. I mean, it's insane for the criminal system. Anyway, so that's it. So my solution to ADHD is to focus. One of them is to focus on the economic value, because business is money, and I think in order to make change, having money and objective data and things that like the team we have here is so big into education and all those things. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually really good and interesting. And I can't wait for the whole presentation to come in. So, Susanna, what about you, sister? What is one of your solutions?
Okay, so for me, it deals with belonging, and psychological safety is such an important part in terms of organizations. When people don't feel safe in the organization, they're going to be more disengaged. They're going to be looking for ways out, and there's actually some numbers to support that, because get this up here. It's like key stats in terms of psychological safety and productivity combined. There's a 50% increase in productivity when organizations are fostering psychological safety. This is what they've seen themselves. Employees in these environments are 76% more engaged, which leads to improved performance and reduced turnover. I mean, they're feeling seen, they're feeling heard. There's more collaboration. There's a resulting 57% more collaboration because of enhanced teamwork, because of a psychological safe environment. And even with stress, workplaces that emphasize psychological safety, the reporting is 74% decrease in employment stress levels. But something else to keep in mind with these spaces, because this is what I see. I've been in these spaces where when you don't feel safe, you just pull back. You're putting on a mask and you're not really engaging. And you're probably looking for that next place to go. And that's another one of these things that organizations with high psychological safety, they're seeing a significant drop in the turnover rates, with only 3% of employees at risk of quitting compared to 12% in low safety environments. And some people might say, well, that just doesn't seem like a big percent, but you got to remember there's dollar figures compared to this too. And every time somebody leaves an organization, the figures that I've seen is replacing that person is anywhere from 1 to 2 times or more the cost of what they're making in the organization. So this is money that's going away. And I'm still looking for some info. They talked about loss of institutional knowledge. What's that value when it goes out the door? So when you don't have a place that people feel safe and they leave, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, there's a cost to replace them, but there's a cost to replace that it's almost irreplaceable of institutional knowledge. And with psychological safety, that's what fuels the creativity and innovation. People are more willing to take risks, to throw out ideas. This is all in that productivity. So this is everything I'm looking at in terms of productivity, how to create a space where people feel like they belong. And the reason I start with the psychological safety is I have 3 different steps, 3 3 different frameworks. This is the first one. So this is like the first step of creating that space of belonging, is having this culture of psychological safety where employees feel seen, heard, and valued. Because that's the first step before they can go into being more engaged and more seen, feel and have that exchange with the organization. So organizations, like I said, they're at risk of disengagement when employees don't feel psychologically safe within that culture. This includes the communication between the organization and the employees, which is part of the need for members to feel safe about being able to speak up without the fear of punishment or being negatively judged. That lack of psychological safety is when employees begin to disengage. They're not engaging with the company. They're just doing business as usual. They're just getting their work done, but they're not putting a passion into it. They're not connecting with those around them. Their innovation and creativity is going down because they're not invested in a space that they don't feel is invested in them. At the same time, when the organization is getting ready to do this, to create this space where psychological safety is a valued part of the business, they need to look at themselves. They need to look at, is it a fast-paced or a rigidly structured organization design? Because these can be hindrances to putting in a psychological safety space. It can be more challenging. Employees in these workspaces are likely to fear the negative consequences. And when you're fearing what could happen, because that's what it is, you don't know what's going to happen. It might, it could, but the fear is there. And the fear means it becomes a culture of silence. If they do speak up, then there's that issue of they feel belittled or that nobody's listening to them. So when we're looking at understanding and creating an organizational climate of psychological safety, it's got to have a space where the benefits of being honest, candor, openness outweigh the cost of silence. So looking at how the organization is created and setting it so that they can get rid of that fear of negative consequences if people speak up candidly. And to be able to create this, you need to look at training leaders to ask for and accept, and there's a keyword right there, accept the input, acknowledge vulnerability, and even be willing to admit their own mistakes. Then you need to be able to establish team norms that support curiosity, respectful dialogue and dissent. So you're not pushing people down, and having a shared learning. And then being transparent in the communication, which means there's feedback loops. They need to be transparent. Feedback is not a one-way street. It's not manager to employee. It needs to go a roundabout.
Yeah.
So when these employees feel like their input is being seen and heard and used, now you're shifting that culture and you're creating a psychological safety space where the employees are feeling like,
They've heard, seen, and valued. I like that. Thank you for that share. Yeah. We're gonna go with Shonda. Let's keep it 5 minutes. Make sure that we still have room for Danielle to speak. So we're gonna have Shonda, Miguel, and then Danielle. Go for it, Shonda. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Danielle, can you hear me now?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. So my problem is looking at specifically suicide prevention, but in the realm of addressing it with youth and young adults, particularly the ages 10 to 24. My problem statement looks at what can we do to better impact the youth problem of youth suicide, because it's increasing year over year over year. The information that we have is that suicide has increased exponentially over the last 10 to 20 years, and especially in the youth populations as well. Now, they're not the highest, but it is the highest that we've ever seen in our United States. In 2023, there were 1.7 million suicide attempts in the United States, and the statistics that you see advertised on, well, not advertised, but shared on news and media, is they look at the death toll. The death toll was 51,000, and if you divide that up over the number of days and hours in a day, that over the course of a year, that equates to about one person passing away from suicide in this nation every 11 minutes. So every 11 minutes, for the time this broadcast ends, we would have lost 6 lives just in the time that we are sitting here talking with each other. And that's the reality. A concerning factor for that, for me, is about 23% of that are children. So what can we do? So we're talking about our solutions today. My problem is looking at specifically what can we do to impact youth suicide, because it is considered a national crisis. And my program or my presentation goes into a lot of the research, what the problem is, and how significant the problem is. Before I tell the solution, I do have to point out at least one point of those to make it all make sense, which is that with youth suicide, we all think it's sad, but it is also going and transforming into a whole different area of concern, where youth suicide is now becoming a matter of national security. The Department of Defense, and I was actually at this conference when it was announced, but at the DARPA Connect conference, where DARPA is the Department of Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. They actually they created the internet, for example. So they look at solving problems that implement or affect the entire nation. So I was invited to that conference because I had created an app, and the Department of Defense thought that app was potentially a solution. So what my paper does, and my academic publishing actually goes back and looks at all those research and says, hey, what can we do? Because this is becoming a matter of not only just a sad thing, not only a medical or a mental health problem, but it's also a national security issue when we have so many children and young adults killing themselves, that now it's becoming where it is something that is on the radar of the Department of Defense as a problem and a reason, a mitigating factor, that we're not able to get recruits and people in the right fields because they're passing away early due to suicide. My solution is looking at something called DAT-App. DAT-App is where it is actually, well, that's what I call it. But the solution is we have to start meeting children where they are. And statistically, where they are is in their phones and their devices. They are using video and music. And what we find is we also see that children are the most non-compliant in medical and behavioral health interventions. They are the ones most likely to miss an appointment. They're the ones that are most likely not to comply with instructions, simply because we are giving adult solutions to children. We are giving counseling that is siloed. There are no things that go into the factor. The youth suicide is so complex that there's so many mitigating factors, but a solution would be to put several solutions together. So a collaborative hub that gives access where kids are in their music, in their videos, in their games, to actually gamify mental health and give them what they are, what actually resonates with them, which is a digital solution. So my solution is something that I call that app. And what that is a digital hub that gives access to kids to not only mental health counseling and support, but is a single sign on access to wraparound services that meet them where they are and how they resonate well. So, gamifying mental health solutions and giving access through mobile applications is one of my solutions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I cannot wait. And I'm part of your organization to help out with make sure we disseminate all that information out there, especially for parents and kids, because there's no point of creating a solution if we're actually not reaching the people who needs that solution. So thank you for doing that. Miguel, your turn, sir.
Hello, everyone. The title of my paper is called to Labor and Digital Equitable Access to Labor and Social Capital through Digital Media. When I met Dr. Constance, I was developing the protocol for my master's research, and I designed a digital survey for disabled entrepreneurs, utilizing a license that was provided to me by the school. I began marketing my survey online, but my reach was limited to only the channels I actually had access to. As an individual with not a large following at the time, just starting out and using social media for my research outreach, I was only able to collect a few responses. And because of this, I could not do any type of statistical analysis for the study. Instead, the qualitative responses became predominant. And in the world we live in, for the research to be considered naturalistic, it must contain a quantitative measure. However, me being an anthropologist, on the other opposite side of the spectrum, ethnographic analysis is great. And I utilized it to obtain my master's degree. But to have any type of policy influence, it must be representative. I still have the survey design I created, but now outside of school, the marketing and the software costs for managing a large scale statistical scope fall squarely on the independent researcher. By participating in conferences like this, expanding my digital footprint, and working with Dr. Constance, I hope to have the social media reach I lacked in distributing my survey during school. This leads into my solution of starting research like this, like mine, like all of ours. Most of us in the group, all of these great numbers and data and statistics has been pulled from secondary data sources. It was pulled from data that someone else went obtained and published themselves. My research will actually be pulling from what's called primary data, which I went and I collected myself directly from disabled entrepreneurs themselves. And then, so to bring these insights to the desk of board members and speakers, my other solutions, which I'll be presenting next week, are policy based. And then, so to get these solutions and this information to the change makers, it's needed to expand the information that we have surrounding this target population of disabled entrepreneurs. And I'm continuing my work by expanding the literature and the theoretical framework on this discussion. However, once again, this is qualitative in nature, and assembly members, politicians, they want some numbers behind these facts. And then, so my solution is to sponsor research, continue research, whether primary research, secondary research. As Dr. Constance knows, primary data collection is expensive. And then, so what community members can do and individuals can do is support the independent research works of researchers like myself and the other members on this panel today. And thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Miguel. Yes, I did my research using primary data cost a lot of money on my dissertation. I do not advise it unless you have bank and time for sure. And I went crazy and I'm like, yeah, I can do mixed methodology. I did, but oh, let me tell you, this is why I mentor doctoral students, PhDs, DBAs, whatever you want to talk about, I will do that. The hardest part is collection of data, which is methodology. There's a lot of stats behind it, and that's when people get lost and don't graduate. That's where I come in, so I can help you with those numbers. Sister Danielle, last but of course not the least, what's your solution, sister? Go ahead.
Hi, thank you, everyone. I'm Danielle Manawis, and my research will be talking about bridging the gap and overcoming barriers with digitized support in medical emergencies. And this is important because a lot of patients that have cognitive impairments really struggle to receive critical care in emergency room or in the act of emergency responders or in the emergency room providing that care. And for patients like my husband who experienced multiple strokes and strokes post the mild and the major stroke, there's a lot of miscommunication and a lot of things that lead to cognitive impairments that impact his ability to communicate. And so, where it is critical for patients like that to receive the care that they need in the time they need it, when they need it, it's important to have either advocates and absent advocates information on that patient. So the solutions that I will present next week, and I'm excited to, is that there are many things that need to be done. More research, even though there's a plethora of research, but specifically in this area for people, vulnerable patients with cognitive impairments or other medical vulnerabilities that struggle to receive the care that they need due to systemic barriers and systematic barriers that exist in general. So there's not one universal digitized support that speaks to whether it be hospitals, doctors, or emergency responders. And just to put that in perspective, 1 in 6 deaths, one in six deaths are caused by stroke, and it's one of the leading causes of American deaths. And every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke. And so, just leaving you with that, like the impact of people that experience strokes. While there is a lot of solutions that exist, there's information that can be leveraged to better support patients and provide that critical care. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that. And excited to see everybody next week. That's it.
I love it. I'm not seeing, by the way, people on LinkedIn, thank you so much for coming in. Derek Espadas, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Miguel, he said, I have a collection of disabled entrepreneurs, including myself, if you're interested in primary sources. So definitely check out his comments on our LinkedIn right now.
Excellent.
And that would be really amazing to provide. But more than that, Derek, come into Miguel's presentation next week. It's actually at 10 a.m. PST. And we would love for people to come in because we really were, each of these individuals, my fabulous brothers and sisters, my academician scholars, are going to present their presentation full on for like 45 to 50 minutes to really provide data, stats, and the passion that they have. I'm telling you, I have written and collaborated with academic publishing, and it's not as passionate as this group. Sorry guys for those in the past, but I'm like, wow, I'm so like, I just got taken back on seeing the topic and the presentation that they have provided so far. So I'm very impressed for sure. More than anything, I love the passion. Mine is last but not least is about women remaining underrepresented in leadership roles across industries. Despite our ongoing efforts towards workplace gender equality in terms of pay, mentorship is really critical for career advancement, but it's also the effectiveness in helping women overcome systemic barriers is still under research and inconsistently applied, right? So there are structural biases, there are underrepresentation of female mentors, and intersectional factors like race, socioeconomic status, disability limits women's access to quality mentorship, impeding their leadership development and in reinforcing workplace disparities. And if I didn't have stats backing it up, you probably think, oh, you're just doing it as a politic, whatever. I don't do politics conversation or religion conversation, but this is something near and dear to my heart because I do have two daughters, right? And I researched this for the last 30 some years. This is actually part of my dissertation. I spent money on it and I went to the Philippines and United States. I did call with Miguel. I did primary research on my qualitative data and I did quantitative data exploratory framework. And here's what I wanted to add in this conversation, with especially with all the people's conversation and looping back on Charlie, which is revenue growth and workplace expansion. It's all about the Benjamins, guys, right? Participants in Goldman Sachs, there's 10,000 women reported a 480% increase in revenue within 18 months. Additionally, 58% created new jobs and more than doubled their workforces. So the mentorship ripple effect, what is it? Well, within 6 months of those 10,000 women within the program for Goldman Sachs, 75% of their participants had mentors, and 90% went on to mentor on average about 8 other women. So how does that actually equate? It amplified the program's impact, right? So if your organization is having a mentorship program specific for women mentorship going up, the post training there was a 23% increase in women feeling secure making difficult decisions. 13% of those rise in confidence in selling and communication skills, and 21% boost in negotiation tactics. Also, over 20% became leaders in their communities after completing the program. Right? 20% might be not nothing much, but it's something moving the needle. And I will actually use the World Economic Forum, which I also used in my dissertation, which I use pretty much for everything. I used to do ambassadorship for women and girls in United Nations because of these statistics, right? And what am I doing today other than talking? In fact, I have a mentee right now who's a college student in underutilized communities. I do mentorship for GMI, and it's all about career advancement because I'm really passionate about helping women move the needle a little bit. United States, guys, we're number 43 in 2023 out of 140 countries. We're First Nation, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Lithuania, they're not even there, but yet they're number 10. They're in top 10. What is the problem here? What is the problem? Right? There's so many problems. So what we're trying to do is we don't have all the answers, but we have some type of solution. And one of the solution is mentorship. It's super important. And Charlie talks about maybe mentorship with ADHD. Hello, I have ADHD. Danielle has them. So is Susanna. Mentorship, we're already here for you. It's a matter of feeling that psychological safety that Susanna's talking about. Are you safe enough to divulge your issues, right? So that you can relate to others who are somewhat like you. It's never going to be 100%. Everyone wants to copy you, but you're the original. So don't worry about it, okay? But here's the thing, mentorship is so important. Right? Friendship builds through that mentorship if you really do that. And I love the reverse mentoring that they have, which is initiative like Estee Lauder reverse mentoring program involves senior leaders learning from junior employees, fostering empathy, understanding across different organization levels. Imagine if each organizations we work for today, 8 billion people, maybe even more, right? People in this world having huge organizations like Meta or Google or Amazon, having programs of women specifically having mentors, right? For other executives to say, what are some of the skills that you lack of? I don't negotiate my pay. I lack the skills of communication because if someone offends me, I literally just shut down. Okay. I'm talking about myself here. I'm not talking about other people, right? Growing up. But I have really cool empathy for other people. I also can do technical stuff, but I'm put in the secretarial jobs that I'm so thinking that it's so boring. I want to do more. I love teaching people, but I love learning more than I teach, right? Certain things like that, that's characteristics of someone that could actually move up. And Charlie talks a lot about, money. Yes, there are money that's lost. Susanna talks about money that's lost. And all of these things goes into disabled entrepreneurs that Miguel is talking about, right? And Shonda talks about our youth. Those are our future leaders of this world, right? What are we going to do with that? They're killing themselves for what though? We're not doing enough to help them. And Shonda is trying her best, but it takes a whole world to do that. It takes a whole village, and it starts today within our community, right? Mentorship is everything for me because I never had a mentor. So I like to mentor other people so they don't feel lost like me growing up and not having a mentor to guide me, to hold my hand. I had to figure everything out myself. So I don't want you to be like that. What if I did have a mentor? Maybe I could have done more. I don't know what more I could have done. Maybe something, right? But that I don't want any other people losing that opportunity to be mentored by people like myself and like the people who are in here. So thank you guys so much. I cannot wait to have you guys watch us. So this is the registration. It is free, and you guys can actually come in and ask questions. This is the scan that QR code. It is free, and emails are going to be sent to get those links. It's literally my Zoom link for each of these people's and brothers and sisters, academic scholars right here's room. It is 1 hour, about 45 to 50 minutes of their discussion. And then we will invite you after we actually publish this manuscript in academic publishing in 120 something universities in 60 countries. We invite you to buy also our book and what we have, right? But we're going to talk about it first. How amazing is that? Not after the fact, but before the fact. So this is who we are, what we do, and hopefully that we can have you guys join us. And don't even ask about the replay because there might not be none. And we will give you certificates. So if you come in during our live presentation. So thank you guys for coming, and we appreciate you. And we hope that you will join us next week. So the schedule is 7 a.m. PST on Monday, 8, and then 9. So it'll be me, Susanna, Danielle, and then 10 a.m. PST, 11 and 12. It will be Miguel, Shonda, and Charlie, I believe, in that order. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
I'll check the comments. Thanks.
Okay. Bye. See ya.